everyone. A very good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to this session. Please let me know if I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Please confirm quickly. Okay. Those watching me for the first time, I'm Niharika, join my faculty of English here, and this is the last session of CSAT practice. We are gonna start with something new at this time, 1:30 p.m. practice session. Okay. Um, So we are gonna start something new, and I'll quickly fix thing and okay. Are going to classes events at 1:30 p.m. here. These will be the practice sessions, and at 8 p.m. currently are doing editorial analysis, the complete analysis with vocab, grammar, comprehension, everything. Very important session, full power packed session we have here, so please make sure you don't miss. This is regular session Monday to Saturday, and I want to see all of you there. Okay, so we'll start with doing the questions now. Again, these are RC questions, so even if it's not CSAT that you are exactly appearing for, you can still practice a lot on comprehension skills through these questions. These are great questions, and these are the PYQs. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead with the first question. जल्दी से like और share कर दो video को and start answering. Answer is, what does the passage imply? Environmental issues contribute to resource stresses and political conflict. Different thing. what do you understand? What is a suggestion that you get or you would follow after reading the passage? ये question है. What climate change will undeniably do is cause or amplify events that hasten the reduction of resources. So climate change leads to reduction of resources. इतना तो है. Competition over these diminishing resources would ensue in the form of political or even violent conflict. And because depletion is there in resources, it will lead to political conflict. Answer itna easy tha. Resource based conflicts have rarely been overt and are thus difficult to isolate. उनको manage कर पाना difficult होता है. Instead, they take on veneers that appear more politically palatable. Political level पे ज़्यादा होते हैं and it's something politics उसमें जाती ही है. Conflicts over resources like water are often cloaked in the guise of identity or ideology. छोटा सा चीज वाटर के ऊपर के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स को वो क्लोक कर देते हैं इन द सेंस दे आर हिडन अंडर द आइडेंटिटी और आइडियोलॉजी रिलेटेड इशू. सो इन्वायरमेंटल इशूज अल्टीमेटली कॉजेस रिसोर्स स्ट्रेस एंड फिर वहां से अल्टीमेटली पॉलिटिकल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. Resource based conflicts are always politically motivated? No, it's not that. Also, it is an extreme word, not I answer. Relationship भी always वाली है नहीं. There are no political solutions to resolve environmental and resource based conflicts. Passage is not talking about it. Political conflict based on identity or ideology cannot be resolved. हो ही नहीं सकता resolve. Resolution के बारे में ज़्यादा input है नहीं यहाँ पे. Plus, it's an extreme word also. Cannot means हो ही नहीं सकता. So, cannot be my answer. Answer is D. During the summer, okay, first of all, what is the crucial message conveyed? Crux of the passage is almost same, crucial message. During the summer in Arctic Ocean, sea ice has been melting earlier and faster. So during the summer, the ice is melting faster and winter freeze has been coming later. Winter freeze coming later, melting faster. In the last 3 decades, the extent of summer ice has declined about 30%. Lengthening period of summer melt threatens to undermine the whole Arctic food web. Now, because more melting is or prolonged melting is what we see, it is a threat to Arctic food web, atop which stand polar bears. And इसमें सबसे ऊपर टॉप पे है लिस्ट में polar bears जिनको सबसे ज़्यादा अफेक्ट होगा. So climate change poses a threat to the survival of polar bears. This is climate change, na? Prolonged summer ice melt, later winter freeze. So this is the climate change and ultimately affecting active food web on which on the top of the list we have polar bears. So ultimately the crucial message here is polar bears are under threat of survival because of climate change. Which among the following is the most crucial message conveyed by the above passage? So, again, most crucial message is the crux of the passage, the main thing that you get to understand. Why do people prefer open defecation and they don't want toilets? Or if they have them, only use them sometimes. Now, there is a recent research that has shown two critical elements: ideas of purity and pollution, and not wanting pits and septic tanks to fill. People don't want the tanks to fill because they have to be emptied. These are the issues that nobody wants to talk about, and this is not anything जो कि address करा जा रहा है. But if we want to eradicate the practice of open defecation, they have to be confronted and dealt properly. So author is saying we need to target these issues, the underlying issues. So people have to perceive that toilet use and pit emptying as clean and not polluting. This is in fact something that will create hygiene. It is not something that is creating pollution, because people have this wrong mentality that they don't want pits and septic tanks in their places because they are filled with all dirty things. So, this is the main message we get from the passage. The ideas of purity and pollution are so deep rooted that they cannot be removed. Author is not saying that. People cannot change their old habits, could be true, but again, not what the passage's crucial message is. People have neither civic sense nor sense of privacy. This is again extreme to say. Which of the following is again most crucial inference? Now it has to be from the passage. Okay. In the last 2 decades, GDP has increased 50%, whereas inclusive wealth has increased by mere 6%. GDP to 50% है, but inclusive wealth 6%. In recent decades, GDP driven performance has only harmed inclusive wealth like human capital and natural capital like forest, land, water. GDP driven growth is actually harming inclusive wealth. While the world's human capital stands at a 57% of total wealth, grew by 8%. Natural capital, which is 23% of total wealth, declined. Now, natural capital to और decline हो गई. This human capital grew by less percent, whereas on the other side, the natural capital declined by 30% worldwide in last 2 decades. Don't go deep into the statics part here. Just understand the relationship. So the growth driven GDP only is neither desirable nor sustainable, okay, because we can see it is harming inclusive wealth. This is what we understand behind the lines. More emphasis should be laid on development of natural capital. That's true, that is a solution, not an inference. Economic performance of the countries is not satisfactory. See, it's not about satisfaction level. GDP is somewhere satisfying, but not the way we want. The world needs more human capital under the present circumstances. We don't have enough information to draw this. This may seem true in our mind, in our heart, but not exactly what we are looking for from the passage. Answer is D. So, what does the passage imply? In a democratic state where a high degree of political maturity of the people obtains, where a high degree of maturity obtains, the conflict between the will, there is a conflict between the will of the sovereign lawmaking body, so will of the body, and the organized will of the people seldom occurs. So it's just one sentence and इसका imply क्या कर रहा है, suggest क्या कर रहा है, could be a bit difficult. Sometimes such questions could be challenging. So in a mature democracy, of course, political maturity high degree की है, तो mature democracy है. Force is narrowed down to marginal phenomena in the actual exercise of sovereignty. Please understand. Where a high degree of maturity obtains what? The conflict of the will of the lawmaking body and organized will of people. There is a conflict and this seldom occurs. तो ये conflict शायद ही होता है. That means in a mature democracy, force is narrowed down to a phenomena. Marginal phenomena एक ही बात है यहाँ पे. In the actual exercise of sovereignty. Because here, sovereign lawmaking body is doing what it is supposed to do, and the will of the people is also organized. So this is the actual exercise of sovereignty, and this is the implication we get from the passage. Okay. In a democracy, force is main phenomena in the actual exercise. No, force is not the main phenomena. So इस वजह से this is not what we want. In a mature democracy, force to a great extent is the main phenomena, since first is wrong, second is almost the same thing, which is not in the passage. In a mature democracy, use of force is irrelevant. No, it is there. Okay, we can see that it is there, but to a least degree, because there are things, it is there, but it seldom occurs. That means the force part is narrowed down. Okay. Next one. Make sure to like and share the session, guys. Following assumptions. Assumptions are the first thought based on which the passage is written. So let's read. The greatest blessing that technological progress has in store is, of course, an accumulation of material possessions. One of the greatest blessings of technological process is accumulation of materialistic things, the material things. The amount of these that can be enjoyed by one individual in one lifetime is not great. But the amount of these that one can enjoy in one's lifetime is not great. But that is not the same. There is not the same limit to the possibilities of the enjoyment of leisure. Okay, but there are more things that could be possible. उसके ऊपर ये limit नहीं है. The gift of leisure may be abused by people who have no experience of making use of it. People may not understand what leisure is and how to utilize, how to maximize and utilize. Yet, creative use of leisure by a minority in societies has been mainspring of all human progress beyond the primitive level. Yet, we can see that how leisure is being used creatively by some people in the society, minority in a society. It has been the main cause of human progress. Okay, so people always see leisure time. एक तो always extreme word है. We have to be extra careful. Hardly होगा कि ये answer होगा. People always see leisure time as a gift and use it for acquiring more material possession. If this would have been true, that means all the people always see leisure time as a gift. But author is saying that no, only a minority is able to utilize it creatively. So ये तो opposite हो गया. If first is true, the passage is not supporting. use of leisure by some people to produce, and that's why second is correct, because author is explaining this thing in depth in the passage, connecting the dots, helping us to understand deeper. Only two. Answer is A. Which of the following is the best explanation of the above thing? So, disruption of traditional institutions, identification, loyalty, disruption is likely to lead ambivalent situation. It is breaking the pattern is called disrupting something. It could be a positive thing, it could be a negative thing. It is possible that some people may renew their identification with traditional groups, whereas others align themselves in new groups. कुछ पुराने में जाएंगे, कुछ नए में जाएंगे, and symbols emergent from processes of political development. तो कुछ इधर जुड़ जाएंगे. In addition, political development tends to foster group awareness of a variety of class, etc. So, in addition, जो political development है, वो और ग्रो कराता है ग्रुप अवेयरनेस को ऑफ अ वेराइटी ऑफ क्लास, कौन कौन से टाइप के हैं, रिलीजन रीजन के हैं. तो पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट इज नॉट अ यूनिलीनियर प्रोसेस, फॉर इट इन्वॉल्व्स बोथ ग्रोथ एंड डिके, which is very clear here. How do we know this? How this explains the passage? Because author says disruption में क्या हो रहा है? Some people may renew their identification to the traditional groups, but others align themselves to the new political development groups. So basically यहाँ पे जो एक disruption cause हो रहा है, some are going back and some are coming and joining them, the political development team. सो हियर यहाँ पे पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट एक यूनिलीनियर एक तरफा प्रोसेस नहीं है, बिकॉज देर इज ग्रोथ बट ऑल्सो वी कैन सी देर इज सम काइंड ऑफ डिके. पीछे भी जा रहे हैं ना लोग. Traditional societies succeed in resisting positive aspects of political development. Not that what we see. It is impossible, extreme word, no. Sustenance of loyalties is conducive to political development. It may be important, it may be needed, but not the passage uh, that explains D option. थोड़ा बड़ा है, टाइम लो, आराम से करो. So we need to check for inference. There has been a significant trend worldwide towards regionalism in government, resulting in widespread transfer of powers downwards towards regions and communities. So downwards नीचे की तरफ transfer of power हुआ है based on regions. This process, which involves the creation of new political entities at subnational level and increase in their content and power, is known as devolution. So this whole thing is known as devolution, where जो डाउनवर्ड्स रीजन्स हैं एंड लोकल एंटाइटीज एंड ऑल है उनको ज़्यादा पावर दी जा रही है. Devolution has been characterized as being made up of three factors: political legitimacy, decentralization of authority, and of resources. So, distribution, decentralization of authority, of resources, and legitimacy. Political legitimacy here means a mass demand from below for decentralization process. So legitimacy is, it is actually needed. Decentralization is needed or not. So if it is actually needed, this is what legitimacy means, which is able to create a political force for it to take place. In many cases, decentralization is initiated by upper tier of government. Now, in many cases, we can see decentralization is initiated by upper tier of government without sufficient political mobilization. So that is without the political mobilization, for it has grassroots level, and cases of decentralization process often does not fulfill its objective. So there are problems here. अगर decentralization is initiated by upper tier of the government, top part of the government, without sufficient political mobilization, power वगैरह जो legitimacy वो mobilize नहीं हुई at grassroots level, नीचे तक नहीं पहुंची, then objectives रह जाते हैं. So devolution to be successful requires a democracy where there is free expression of the will of people at lower level. Grassroots level पे काम अगर हो जाए तो ये objectives fulfill हो जाएंगे, and their active participation at grassroots level. तो ये आपको later part से clearly समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. First of all, devolution is explained, so we understand that it has three elements. It has the point of political legitimacy and decentralization of resources and power. But in order to be successful, devolution has to first of all make sure to reach out to people जो कि lower level पर हैं. That mobilization sufficient होना चाहिए. Then active participation भी होना चाहिए. That's how it is gonna be successful. तो ये सारी चीजें हमें इसमें देखने को मिलती हैं. ओके. I hope this is clear. Okay. Sure. ठीक है. I think we are done here. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here, and I'll be meeting you in some time at 8 o'clock. We have a class here. Okay. Will.